Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you doing?
Doing good. Coming up later in the program, we're going to be talking to a guy by the name of Charles. It's Tuesdays with Charlie.
It is Tuesdays with Charlie already.
Yeah, we always like talking to... That's my father-in-law, by the way. For those of you who wonder, that's Heidi's dad. Explains a lot, doesn't it? Hey, in Bern, Switzerland, they're hoping to keep men from using parking spaces reserved for women by painting them pink and adding flowers. Why would there be parking spaces reserved for women? Does that
I don't
make
know.
sense?
That doesn't make any sense. What about all this equality that everybody's nagging about?
But no, I'm fine with that. But I've never seen like female parking spaces.
Me either.
I've seen
for expectant mothers, which
Yeah,
is
I've seen
great,
that.
especially in climates where the weather gets really bad and
that's
stuff.
cool.
I think that's wonderful.
But this is in Bern, Switzerland. I just didn't know there were female and male parking spaces. Didn't know that was a thing. Hey, the average person can only remember about 60% of what happened to them yesterday, which reminds me of this. I guess I can't remember anything. All right. Coming up, we've got a bunch of fun stuff happening today, and hopefully we'll remember that. It's all on the way.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Oh, yeah. Thought you'd never ask. It's Miners Day. M-I-N-E-R-S. So, like people who go into mines. Miners Day today. St. Nicholas Day today. I didn't know that. That's cool. And it's National Pawnbrokers Day today as well. So, see your neighborhood pawnbroker today. So, there you go. It's all on a Tuesday, the 6th day of December. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is my favorite time of year. The lights, the fun parties, and the family get-togethers. Many of us have boxes of home videos capturing these memories. But sadly, these memories are fading away because the videotape was not the best format. My friend CJ has a business called Tape It Up Reproductions. They transfer your precious memories to a digital format with the option to enhance the audio and the video to make them look and sound better than ever. His website is tapingitup.com, or you can call or text 412-766-1679.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Another reason to treat yourself to a piece of chocolate. Like we needed another reason. I mean, you know what the best reason to eat chocolate is?
Because it's chocolate.
Yeah, because you have chocolate. If you have it, you eat it. That's a good reason. But a new study published in the Journal of Nutrition, which, you know, hey, if they're going to publish it, I'm going to tell you about it. They found that European children who had more chocolate also had a lower body mass index. So more chocolate doesn't necessarily mean more fat. Scientists examined the chocolate intake of 1,458 kids aged 12.5 to 17.5, and they found those who had more chocolate, 11.5 ounces a day versus less than a quarter of an ounce a day, actually had lower body mass indexes regardless of age or sex or other diet factors.
Really?
So they're saying, you know, if they had 11.5 ounces a day, I'm trying to think, how many ounces of chocolate are in a regular candy bar? Would it be about 11.5 ounces?
I don't know. We should look at a candy bar.
Well, I wonder what the suggested serving size is. 7 candy bars? No?
Probably
Maybe
not.
That's where I'm going wrong. I think it's cool, though. You can eat chocolate and not be worried about gaining weight, according to this study.
It's all the other stuff that you eat when you're eating chocolate.
Washing it down with a beverage.
Yeah, Coke full of,
Chase it with another
sugar. And,
chocolate bar.
Yeah.
Maybe it's all the other things we had. You notice this was European kids so it doesn't say American kids. It was European kids. So there you go. Coming up here in a bit, we've got some more fun stuff. And I want to say hello to some ladies that we had a chance to meet the other day. We were at a concert, and they were at the concert. And it was funny because they wanted to get a photo taken with Heidi. So
with you, too.
Well, but mainly you. Because they loved Heidi. It was pretty cool. So hello, ladies. Thanks for listening. Coming up, we've got a bunch of fun things. It's all on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is Your Brain on Drugs. Japanese artist Tomoko Takashi had a show in Wales where she won a $10,000 grant to get drunk in public. This is art. Her art, by the way, is her chugging 48 bottles of lager for 3 hours, occasionally seeing how far she can walk across a balance beam on high heels before she falls off. She calls it a comment, quote, on the ability and use of mass-produced products, end quote. Critics call it stupid, a commercial for binge drinking, and a waste of taxpayer dollars. So she's an artist. She got $10,000 to get drunk in public and act like a fool. Heidi does that for free.
I was going to say, how do I get in on that gig?
I'm the designated driver, so I'm saying if you're going to drink, you have make sure you have a designated driver. But this young lady, Tomoko Takashi from Japan, had this $10,000 grant in Wales to get drunk in public.
All I ever get when I do that is a public intoxication offense.
You've never gotten one of those. Have you ever gotten one of those?
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I want people to know that you're just teasing. Coming up, we've got your moment of duh. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
Now it's time for our moment of duh. We go to, where is it? San Antonio, Texas, where Gilbert Salas and his neighbor decided to go and, just for fun, confront a man with a pistol. The two teens were suspected of stealing goods. Gilbert apparently watches a fair amount of police-type shows on television, fired a shot into the air to get the attention. The teens, who watch a fair amount as well, persuaded him to put the gun down and fight with his fists. That's when they did, and one of the teens was fibbing. He grabbed the gun.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Realizing the young man was not a thief, but a liar, they struggled to get the gun back. It went off, shot Gilbert in the foot. The other teen attacked the other friend with a piece of wood, a 2x4, and a decorative brick.
Oh.
Now Gilbert can't walk, and the other guy's in the hospital with head injuries. The teens are still on the loose. They say, listen closely, friends. Conceal and carry refers to your guns, not your brains. So
Oh, my goodness.
these guys, yeah, they were up to no good, and the kids were up to no good, and you got a bunch of people up to no good, it becomes your moment of duh. That's what happens. All right, we have your scoop of the day on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Laughter really is the best medicine. A recent study proves that smiling and happy attitudes can slash your risk of heart attacks and strokes and other cardiovascular mishaps. That's good news. That's
very good news.
Harvard School of Public Health researchers found that optimistic people suffered 50% fewer cardiovascular events compared to their more pessimistic peers. Twice as many women get the blues as men, and smiling could be a good weapon in the war against heart attacks. Psychiatrist Dr. Leo Pozzolo says, this study shows positive feelings augment a resiliency to prevent or reduce the risk of heart disease. End quote. That was quite a quote.
Yeah, he might have well been speaking Latin. I really didn't understand
what he was saying is, hey, if you
smile and laugh and you'll be healthy.
Yeah.
That's what he should have said.
You're going to feel better. There you go. Japanese company has developed a one-person smoking room for the office. So, like the telephone booths back in the day that Superman would change in, this would be like a smoking booth.
Oh.
So you go stand in this thing and smoke.
Where is this?
Japan. So there you go. They're always on the cutting edge of things. Hey, Chicago Alderman Howard Brookings Jr. went on a public tirade about aggressive squirrels.
What?
Complaining that they keep eating thanks to the city-supplied garbage cans. And then he found himself in the hospital with a skull fracture one day later when a squirrel leapt onto the path of his bike, wrapping itself in the spokes, causing him to flip over the handlebars. This is a true story. He told an interview, I can think of no other reason for this squirrel's actions than it was like a suicide bomber getting revenge. So this guy went on a public tirade about squirrels, and then the next day was attacked by a squirrel. You can't make that kind of stuff up. I mean, doesn't it just sound like a phony story?
That's hilarious.
But it's real. So that happened in Chicago. You got attacking squirrels there. I bet that's going to probably do wonders for tourism in Chicago. I want to go see the angry squirrels. A study says Minnesota drivers are the best drivers in the country. Which ones are the worst?
I have no idea.
The ones right here. It doesn't really say that, but I've been in the. According to a recent study, Harris Poll says 50% of employees will shop online for holiday gifts while at work. Of those employees, 42% will spend at least an hour a day this time of year shopping online. So for those of you who work in an office and you wonder who's doing it, look around. Pretty much all of them. They're all doing it. Many people are walking around with hidden defects in their brain, but these flaws are harmless. A Dutch study in Rotterdam's Erasmus MC University Medical Center, I probably got all of that wrong, they found 13% of test subjects have secret brain abnormalities.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of
like
crazy.
what?
Well, they believe more and more defects will be picked up as brain scanner devices are improved, and doctors need to learn which flaws are harmless and which ones require treatment. But they're just saying that, some of us have got a screw loose. So,
but you know what? If nobody's seeking medical attention, it's not bothering them. Why do you need to know? I mean, why would you need to tell somebody? Well, I know you act okay and you feel okay.
So many jokes to say on this, but
I just want to let you know that you are messed up. Why would anybody need to know that if it's not affecting them?
See this thing here on the scan where your brain is like pea-sized? I know you found your way here, but we're shocked that you actually found your way here. I'm not sure what's going on. Hey, a survey conducted by a tire company called Continental, they show 1 in 3 women don't know how to change a flat tire, and 4% of women don't know where their spare tire is even located in their vehicle. We have a story that relates to that. My wife over here got a flat tire just the other day.
I did.
And our daughter, who has these boys that are her age, that, she's been trying to get us to like these boys. Our daughter is so smart.
She's very smart.
Heidi told her, hey, you need to go pick up Dad because I got a flat tire. No, she brings these boys, and these boys change the tire.
And now I like the boys.
I was like, wow, there are some super mental tricks that she just pulled on you.
She's clearly got nothing wrong with her brain.
Yeah, she's like, well, I didn't want to drive all the way home to get Dad, so I got these boys, these strapping young lads from my high school. They're going to fix it. And I was like,
and they did. It was
cool.
It was wonderful.
It was on Sunday, and I didn't have to get out of my pajamas, so I was happy.
I got to stay in the bar and have margaritas with my sister-in-law, so it worked out fine.
And then she made one of the boys give her a ride
I did.
home.
It was time to come back. I was like, hey, you're getting in the car with me.
You're driving me home. Anyway, you can't make this stuff up. Thanks for listening to your Scoop of the Day.
John and Heidi.
Radio advertising works. When it's done right, it works even better. There are many things you can do to get a better response, and shouting sale really isn't the best thing, believe it or not. Did you know that when you put words to music, they're 9 times more memorable? If you're trying to get people to remember your company, consider a jingle. We work with one of the very best jingle companies in the business, and we'd love to use music to help you grow your company. Learn more and hear examples at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com. And it's time right now for my favorite program, something we do every Tuesday just because we can. We pick up the phone and we call my father-in-law for a little thing we like to call
Tuesdays with Charlie.
How you doing, Charlie?
Well, it must be Tuesday.
It definitely is, and it's always fun to visit with you on Tuesday. What kind of cool stuff we going to learn about today?
Hey, did you know for 4,000 years after they started making cheese, ancient Europeans were lactose intolerant?
No kidding.
So they made all that cheese for 4,000 years and then found out they couldn't eat it.
That's kind of crazy.
So did they just slowly build up a tolerance to it then?
I don't know.
They must have.
See, that's what you have to do. If you really like something, you keep eating it, even if it makes you sick. Just like you with prime rib, John.
I do that all the time. I eat it and I get sick. And she's like, you're going to get sick. I'm like, it's going to be worth it.
But it's worth it, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
More people commit suicide in New York City than are murdered.
No kidding. That's too bad. That is very, very sad. It's very sad that there are people getting murdered, too, but it's very, very sad that they're taking their own life. That's not good. Don't do that.
Also, it's not illegal to go topless in New York.
It's not?
No.
You might want to double-check that one.
I double-checked it.
Welcome to New York. Getting arrested. But Charlie said it wasn't illegal. Charlie who? What is he
You don't
know?
have to check nothing when I speak. Hey, then did you know every year 4 million cats are eaten in China as a delicacy?
No kidding. I did not.
I've always heard the rumor that they eat them, but
I didn't know that.
Now, I don't want all you cat lovers to call me, but the only good cat is a dead cat.
You know, I actually like cats, so I'm going to stand up for the
I do
cats.
not.
I know, because
Yeah.
it doesn't shock me that you were raised in the same home as this man that we're talking to here. She's allergic to cats, so I try to give her a little benefit of the doubt there.
Don't be banned and listen to the radio station or anything. It's just my opinion.
We are all entitled to our opinion.
The views you hear on
Damn
Tuesdays
good
with
one,
Charlie.
too.
The views expressed on Tuesdays with Charlie do not necessarily represent staff management or anyone else's views here.
Hey, then studies have shown that people usually do take longer to leave a parking spot when someone's waiting for it.
Oh, I do.
I noticed
I'll
that
sit there forever just to make them mad.
yesterday. There were two cars, myself and another car. So there's a car in front of me, so I couldn't just drive away. And there were two parking spaces. Somebody leaving one, and there was one wide open next to it. It took 3 minutes at least.
No, I will refuse to back out if somebody is sitting behind me and waiting. I'll be like, one of us is going to die unless you move.
So, and I'm the one that's going to sit there. I refuse to drive away. So, be two skeletons in cars.
Hey, then you know the average fertile man, that's like me,
Okay.
makes about 1,500 new sperm every time his heart beats.
Wow.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
That's insane.
Yes, it is.
That's
That brings up another topic, but I can't say that.
Okay.
I can't even wrap my head around that. That is insane.
There's a joke involved in what you just said, I'm sure. So.
If he was Howard Stern, I could come up with something for that. That's all.
I could come up with plenty, but I'm trying to be nice to our audience. So, hey, are you ready for a question, Charlie?
I've got the answer.
All right. I'll give you the question first, then we'll see if you can get an answer.
Well, you know, it'd help if before we went on the air, you'd give me the answer so I didn't sound like I knew something.
All right. The answer is false. Are you ready for that?
Okay.
Okay. True or false? Crest claims the Tooth Fairy as a registered trademark.
False.
False. You're correct. It is false. Colgate claims the Tooth Fairy as a registered trademark. So there you go. Charlie got one right. Just a little bit of help.
Hey.
That's
but-
awesome, Dad. Good for you.
We'll be sending T-shirts to all our members there somewhere.
And this is another little fun fact, just in case you want to know it. If you put a raisin in a glass of champagne, it will keep floating to the top and sinking to the bottom. It'll go up and down with a raisin. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
That's because I told you that a long time ago.
And I think the reason is because the bubbles attach to the raisin and it lifts it to the top. Then they get up there and all the bubbles come off and then it sinks back down and then more bubbles attach to it and it lifts it back up. So that's why that happens.
But if you drink it fast enough, you'll never know that.
Very true. You know, I'm going to have to get some champagne now and try that. We got New Year's Eve
You're not
coming
going to
up.
put raisins in champagne. That's
Just
just
to
nasty.
see if it works.
Okay.
All right.
Whatever.
Why don't you put a golf ball in there and see what it does?
No, thanks. I'm not going to mess with that. All right. Thanks, Charlie. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye, Daddy.
Bye, Fluff. Bye, John.
Bye-bye. My father-in-law right there. We talk to him every Tuesday just because we can with a little show we like to call Tuesdays with Charlie.
John and Heidi.
When is the last time you changed the air filter on your furnace? Now, don't be embarrassed. That happens to a bunch of us. The furnace filter should be changed often. This will help your heating and cooling system run more efficiently, and it'll even extend the life of your system. Now, there's an easy way to make it happen. Filter Easy, a new subscription service that delivers your size filter right to your door on the schedule you choose. It's easy. Filter Easy. One less thing to worry about. Learn about a special offer available now at radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
When traveling, it is safer to use luggage with combination locks instead of key locks. There's a couple reasons. One, it's a lot easier if you remember the combination. If you lose the key, you'd be in trouble. But they also use the same key for a lot of similar bags, and thieves know which bags. So there you go.
And I honestly, I don't think any of those locks are worth a darn because those things are flimsy and they're easy to break. So it's not like if you have a lock on, somebody's going to say, oh, no, I can't take that bag. I'd never get in there.
What's your combination?
And a lot of times those bags are cloth. So even if you don't know the lock, you just cut right through the cloth. I think it's silly to lock it up.
Got to say it again. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
There's some people we met this weekend that said they love that. So there you go. This was a time in Japan. I'm sorry. There was a time in Japan where a wife being left-handed was grounds for divorce.
Really?
So if your wife was left-handed, you could divorce her for that reason in Japan. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Franklin Pierce was the first U.S. president to have a Christmas tree in the White House. Yeah, first one.
Really?
And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The oldest known disease in the world is what? Leprosy.
Oh, yeah.
Oldest known disease in the world. There you go. Now you know a couple of fun facts on a Tuesday.
I knew that.
Yeah, now you know.
No, I already knew.
Now you know again.
John and Heidi.
This is Richard Lustig, the world's first and only 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Since I endorsed Lottolicious, I have won something every single draw. They do all the work. You don't have to worry about running to the store to buy your tickets. They take care of all that. So if you're looking for the best way to play the lottery, to give yourself the best chance of winning, go to radiolottopool.com and join today. Again, that website is radiolottopool.com.
John and Heidi.
Today's kind of an interesting day because earlier in the program we talked about some guys that are getting in trouble for parking in women's parking spaces. That was in Bern, Switzerland, remember?
Which are really I just want to go on the record saying that is stupid.
Stupid what?
To have women's parking spaces.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, in Bern, Switzerland, they have female parking spaces and they paint...
Maybe in Switzerland they're not fighting for equality. Maybe they want to be treated like ladies.
I have no idea. But they have pink parking spaces now with flowers. And Russia has decided now... This is just so weird because this kind of stuff would never fly in America. That parking space thing, I don't think that would... I don't know, maybe it would. But
it would.
You think it would?
Women would love it, even because they're talking out of both sides of their stupid faces. I want equality, and I can do everything just like a man, but I should have special parking because I'm a lady.
Would you just stop? You know you're not helping your kids. There's people online saying, that Heidi, she's kind of mean once in a while.
No, there's a lot of people saying, that's right.
Well, take a listen to this. Mars, Destination Mars. Everybody's talking about going to Mars. Well, Russia has decided that women are not allowed to go on the trip to Mars. What?
They just want some peace and quiet for once.
They don't have any trips. This is the best part. They don't have any trips planned in the near future. So it's not
they
like
just said, we're not going, but when we do go, you're not invited.
They decided that when they finally do go, women are not allowed. Discriminatory, you think? Well, you're right. The reason they made this decision is because they think women would cause arguments on the trip.
They would.
One of the directors of Russia's space program says that's probably not going to take place until at least 2020, but it would consist of a serene crew of 4 or 5 male cosmonauts, a commander, a pilot, a doctor, and a couple of scientists. But no girls allowed because they don't want any arguments.
I gotta say, I
ridiculous.
Kind of agree with them.
Oh, come on.
Are you kidding?
I know so many women that would not be in any arguments at all.
Are you Yeah. How much time do you spend around those women? I notice not a whole lot.
That's true. But I spend a lot of time around you, and I noticed you're arguing with me right now. All right. So there you go. That's something that's happening in Russia. Coming up, we're going to talk about the writing on the wall. It's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This is my favorite time of year. The lights, the fun parties, and the family get-togethers. Many of us have boxes of home videos capturing these memories. But sadly, these memories are fading away because the videotape was not the best format. My friend CJ has a business called Tape It Up Reproductions. They transfer your precious memories to a digital format with the option to enhance the audio and the video to make them look and sound better than ever. His website is tapingitup.com, or you can call or text 412-766-1679.
John and Heidi.
Have you ever heard the phrase, the writing on the wall? Mm-hmm. If you're looking for a new job, you might want to check for some writing on the wall. Because apparently there are people putting ads on bathroom walls.
Okay.
IKEA. They're apparently trying to attract young professionals with handwritten job advertisements on bathroom walls.
Within their own store?
Well, they say in the bathroom, people are more relaxed and receptive to our message. They're seeking copywriters and project managers, and the ads cost 1/10 of the amount charged by newspapers. So far, they seem to be working. After 4 days, IKEA had 60 applicants. That is 4 or 5 times more than they get from a newspaper ad.
It makes sense.
And they put
If
it
you
on the
already
bathroom wall.
enjoy IKEA and you're already at IKEA, it makes sense that you would want to work at IKEA.
But I don't think it's just at IKEA. I think they're advertising in other people's bathroom walls, too.
Well, I don't know.
There you go. Anyway, interesting stuff. You learn a lot of things on this program. Some of them are even accurate. I think that one is. Coming up, we've got an interesting story here about a man in a wheelchair, and we'll tell you all about it in a bit.
John and Heidi.
This is a bizarre story about a man in a wheelchair. Now, this happened in August. The Metropolitan Transit Board of Santa Cruz, California, had to resort to obtaining a judicial order to restrict the bus travel of one of their own members, Bruce Gabriel, because they feared that he might continue to assault transit drivers and others with his wheelchair.
Oh, my goodness.
According to court documents, Gabriel has deliberately hit 2 drivers now,
Oh, my gosh.
deliberately knocked over a boy at a crosswalk, and has verbally assaulted passengers. Gabriel called the collision accidents and says that he merely is an aggressive advocate for people with disabilities. So he's saying, I'm in a wheelchair and I'm going to go, and if you're in my way, I'll just run you over.
Oh, my goodness.
So he's got a motorized wheelchair, and anyway, they're not allowing him back on the bus because of this. So
I don't blame them. I wouldn't want somebody smacking people around on that bus.
I know several people with disabilities that are in wheelchairs that would never, ever, ever do that. So please don't treat others the way this man is treating others. Treat people well. Treat people in a way that you'd want to be treated. I think it's really sad that that's happening. So, all right, coming up. What do we have? Oh, I'll read the headline. Half the time these things aren't right. But it says, avoid getting unwanted surprise holidays. Let me try that again. Avoid getting an unwanted surprise this holiday by being scammed. We're going to talk about getting scammed in a bit.
John and Heidi.
This time of year, we celebrate with family and friends.
And sometimes that involves drinking.
If you're going to be celebrating, please have a designated driver.
I lost my cousins to a drunk driver. They were only 8 and 12 years old.
Their lives were cut short because the driver was drunk and made a terrible choice.
Make good choices. Have a designated driver.
If you or a loved one has a problem with drugs or alcohol, now may be a great time for the gift of sobriety.
You can call Keystone Treatment Center at 844-204-1055.
That's toll-free, 844-204-1055.
John and Heidi.
'Tis the season for so many things, but sadly, 'tis the season for people getting ripped off, too. There are more scams this time of year than any other time because people are, doing their online
people are
shopping.
horrible.
There are people that, they're going and they're giving to charities. So here are some things you got to be careful of. Spoofed shopping sites or auction sites. Make sure you are on the real site. There are people who set them up with like one letter different. You go on there and you give them all your info. So don't do that. Social networking site scams. Make sure you limit the info you put on these things because you don't want to have too much stuff on there. People can use that info to steal your identity. Next, email scams. Avoid unsolicited emails that request any part of your financial information. Just delete them. Make them go away. Phishing emails. No legitimate financial institution is going to send you a website link or a phone number. They're not going to reach out to you and say, hey, click on this link and, we'll give you whatever. No, those things aren't real. Password stealing scams. You know what those are?
No, well, is that when they call you up and say, hey, we need your password so that we can fix your account?
Well, they'll send you an email.
Says you have to log in.
They'll send you an email saying that something happened on your account.
Yeah,
Click here to log in.
you need to log in, and then
steal
once you
your
log in,
password.
then they can see all of your information. Yeah.
Charity emails. There's a lot of people out there that send out these fraudulent charity emails. Make sure you give to a charity that you know for sure is a real charity. Don't fall for the charity emails. Job-related emails. During this time of year, there are people out there that are asking you to, hey, here's a great opportunity, fill this out. And you're filling out a resume, giving them all of your personal information, thinking you're filling out a thing for a job? No. Another one, phony delivery charges. You'll get an email saying that, hey, this package was supposed to be delivered, but the shipping amount was wrong.
Yeah, that was off.
Click on here to pay us so we can drop off your package. That package doesn't exist. You're getting ripped off.
Right. If it was legitimately from the post office or from UPS or whatever, they would have contacted you themselves and they would have left a note on your door saying, we have this package for you. Come and pick it up and pay us at the, because they don't ever ask you to give them money.
Exactly.
You have to go into the store and
Last
pick up
thing
your
on
mail.
here was holiday themed emails. There are a lot of people who they'll create these interesting little emails that you forward to your friends, but when you're forwarding it and they're clicking on those links, you're all opening all kinds of malware on your computer. So steer clear of all that stuff. Coming up, we've got some good news that's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is good news, Heidi.
Okay.
This is such a neat story. So many times they start out sad. Abby Furco, a 10-year-old girl, was first diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia 6 years ago. She was only given 48 hours to live back in June. Not only did she live, she actually walked down the aisle as the flower girl at her camp counselor's recent wedding. How cool is that?
Oh, that's nice.
Abby and her camp counselor, Sarah Swaim Rostock, met at Camp Fantastic. Sounds like a fun camp.
That does sound like a fun camp.
It's a camp run by the Special Love Organization for kids who are fighting cancer, and they first met back in 2013. And she said she hoped that an invitation to participate in her wedding would give Abby something more to fight for, and it did. It worked. And she's been really happy. So it's one of those things where, the doctors said you have 48 hours to live, and that was multiple years ago.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing once in a while that sometimes that even smart doctors can be wrong,
Yep.
So she's still hanging in there.
Well, it's all in God's time. It's not.
exactly.
It's not in any doctor's time. If God decides He's not going to do it, He's not going to do it.
Exactly. And we've got a link to this story at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Also, I want to remind you, we've got some cookies we're giving away. It was National Cookie Day on Sunday. And we've got some cookies that we're giving away from a company called Mad Minis. Mm-hmm. And it's
They're ice cream cookies.
Yeah, 2 cookies
Yummy.
with some ice cream squeezed in between, little ice cream sandwiches. And if you'd like to win, you can go on to that same Facebook page and sign up. And we appreciate the folks that have already done that. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Tuesday.